It was just another busy afternoon at the grocery store. Carts rolling, kids crying, and people rushing. But for Daniel Reeves, a self-made millionaire with everything money could buy, it was the moment that would change his life forever. He wasn't there for milk or bread. He was there to fill an emptiness that success had never cured. Then, in the middle of aisle 7, he saw her. A young mother with trembling hands, staring at a bottle of baby milk like it was gold. What she did next made him stop dead in his tracks, and he couldn't walk away. Daniel Reeves was used to being admired. Cameras followed him at charity events, and his photo often appeared in magazines with headlines like, "The Heart of Gold Millionaire. From Homeless to Hero." But behind the flawless smile and tailored suits was a man who hadn't felt truly alive in years. His parents were gone, his mansion echoed with silence, and every success only reminded him of what he had lost. Love. Connection, meaning. That afternoon, he walked into a small grocery store in a quieter part of town. He had no reason to be there, just an urge to go somewhere ordinary. No bodyguards, no assistants. Just him and his thoughts. As he moved through the aisles, his eyes landed on a young woman in worn clothes, holding a half-empty shopping basket. She looked exhausted, not just from a long day, but from a long life. Her name, he would later learn, was Emily Parker. A single mother of a 1-year-old boy named Noah. Emily stood by the baby food section, clutching a tin of formula milk. Her hands shook as she checked the price tag. It was almost $15. More than she had left after paying rent. For a moment, she placed it in her basket. But after a deep sigh and a quiet whisper, "I'm sorry, baby," she put it back on the shelf. Daniel watched her from a distance. Something in that small gesture pierced through him. He'd seen people beg, steal, or lie for money, but never apologize to a child for being too poor. As she walked away, he noticed her wiping her eyes, pretending to browse other aisles. Something inside him said follow her. And for the first time in years, Daniel listened to his heart instead of his schedule. Outside, rain started to fall. Emily pushed an old stroller with a faded blanket over the baby. She didn't see the man following her. Not with suspicion, but with concern. When she reached a small apartment complex, she stopped, fished through her purse, and pulled out a few coins for the bus. But the driver shook his head. She was short by 50 cents. She tried to smile and walked away, cradling her baby closer, whispering softly to him, "We'll walk, sweetheart. Mommy's here." Daniel couldn't take it anymore. He stepped out of the car and called after her, "Ma'am, excuse me." Startled, Emily turned. She looked ready to run, until she saw the gentleness in his eyes. He held out a $20 bill. "You dropped this inside." Her brows furrowed. "No sir, that's not mine." He smiled softly. "Maybe not. But it's yours now." Tears welled in her eyes as she hesitated, then whispered, "Thank you." He watched her leave. But his heart didn't let him drive away. Something about her felt like a second chance. The next day, Daniel returned to the store. He asked the cashier about the young mother he'd seen. But no one seemed to know her. So, he drove back to that small apartment building and waited. Hours passed until he finally saw her again. Walking back from a nearby diner in her faded uniform, still wearing that tired but determined look. He approached her carefully. "Emily." "Right." She froze, holding Noah close. "How do you know my name?" "I saw the name tag on your uniform," he said quickly. "I'm not here to bother you. I wanted to talk." She studied him for a long moment, unsure of what to think. Then, maybe because of the sincerity in his voice, she nodded. "All right. But just for a minute. I'm late for my babysitter." They sat on a bench nearby. He asked gently, "Why didn't you buy the baby milk yesterday?" Her eyes widened. "You saw that?" Daniel nodded. She looked down, ashamed. "I get paid next week. I thought maybe I could stretch what I have until then. But Noah's been crying all night. I don't know what else to do. Her words broke him. This wasn't a woman asking for pity. This was a mother fighting with every breath for her child. Daniel took a deep breath. Emily. I don't want to offend you, but can I help? She shook her head. People don't just help strangers. Not without wanting something back. He smiled. You're right. Most don't. But I once had a mother like you. She'd go hungry so I could eat. I lost her before I could ever repay her kindness. So maybe, this is my way of saying thank you. Through you. Her lips trembled. You don't even know me. I don't need to. He said quietly. I just know that your son deserves a full stomach, and you deserve a break. For a long time, neither spoke. Rain began to fall again, soft, steady, cleansing. Then Emily whispered, okay. But not charity, alone. I'll pay you back. Daniel smiled. Deal. A weeks later, Emily's life slowly began to change. Daniel helped her find a better job at one of his companies. Not out of pity, but because she earned it. She worked hard, smiled more. And little Noah began to thrive. One evening, Daniel stopped by her apartment with groceries. As they laughed over coffee, Emily looked at him and said softly, You didn't just buy milk that day. You gave me hope. You reminded me that good people still exist. Daniel's eyes filled with tears. No, Emily. You reminded me why I became successful in the first place. Not to count money, but to make it count. Sometimes, the smallest moments, a bottle of baby milk, a kind word, a choice to care, can change two lives forever. Daniel thought he was saving her, but in truth, she saved him. Because kindness doesn't come from wealth. It comes from the heart.